My name is Craig Hutchinson. I am the owner of Olmo Bagels in New Haven. We are an against the grain bagel company that prides itself in hospitality first and a quality bagel second. So for all you that don't like our bagel, that's fine. All you have to do is just like us. I was asked to talk about scaling today, at which point I thought we were just going to be talking about putting dough on a scale. And then I realized that I'm sitting next to two pretty amazing people with Matt from Black Seed and Ethan from Apollo. And so without further ado, I'll let them talk about them and give their elevator pitch. And then we'll do some questions that I goofily wrote up.
So you want me to introduce myself?
Kind of.
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
That's your turn.
Matt Kliegman. I am one of the founders of Black Seed Bagels, based here in New York. We started in 2014 with one store in Oleta on Elizabeth Street, and we now have 10. We have a line of frozen bagels at Whole Foods and Fresh Direct and elsewhere. And I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
My name is Ethan Marks. I'm the Chief Dough Officer at Apollo Bagels. I am from Millburn, New Jersey, and this is kind of my first real bagel job. I was working at Leo before. We were doing Apollo Bagels on the weekends as like a pop-up, and they opened the first store in March. Took me on, and it's just been bagels ever since.
Chief Dough Officer.
I like
That
that
is so
title.
cool.
Unofficial.
Anyway, yeah, so, I kind of wanted to talk about scaling just in general. You know, we've gone through a whole bunch of different iterations of scaling and everything, but I'm most interested, we'll start with Ethan, just from a dough perspective. Was scaling up like a necessity, or was it like you scaled and kind of overshot and you were hoping to be able to fulfill into it? Like, walk me through why you guys scaled up or had to.
I think from my perspective, the scaling is just with the dough production. So like obviously we have more stores, we need to make more dough. So that's mostly my focus of it. So for me, it was necessary because it's my job is to make sure that we can like make more dough, like enough for the next store. So I don't think it's generally necessary, but for us, it for sure is part of the plan.
And like, what have been like for you with scaling up in dough? Like, what talk to the bakers in the room. Like, what have been some of the difficulties about getting it to that next level on a consistency level?
Definitely like machinery. We were originally like hand cutting, scaling every piece, and then hand rolling all the balls, putting them in pizza trays. And now we have a automatic divider rounder that just cuts the dough, rolls into 22 balls, and saves so much time. So that was like the biggest change in how we actually do things, and that just like changes so much of like the production timeline and like how you have to treat the dough and sort of like how you have to think about everything besides the actual production as far as like transportation and baking. So like getting ahead of like where you need to be as far as like amount that you can put out, you definitely want to like be able to make more than you need before you need to make that amount. We have a lot of like kind of last minute like recipe add-ons. We'll like mix like a small extra batch just to because it won't really like fit in the machine that we use or the mixer rather. So definitely like planning ahead, getting the right equipment, and knowing how to use it.
And like your original dough, how many pounds or how many bagels are you mixing in a clip?
Sorry, how do you mean?
Like
per day?
one dough mix. What size dough mixer are you using? And
200 kilo mixer, and we do like a 1,200 bagels per mix. 1,300 is the max we can fit in, but then the mixer starts making weird noises and try to not do that. But yeah, about 1,000 to 13.
And Matt, 10 locations. That is insanity in my mind. Did you guys do it because of demand, or you did it because you wanted to?
Because we wanted to. I mean, I think with COVID, just the fucking roadmap went into the garbage. You know, we started over. But one of the things that I thought about when Ethan was talking was, the history of Black Seed is there are two founders. I owned like nightclubs and bars, and my co-founder owned Montreal-style delis. And he had a facility on the Red Hook waterfront. Hurricane Sandy happens, the whole thing fills with water. And that facility was like 7,000 square foot, and it was a bit of a kind of field of dreams. If you build it, they will come. And I think so. We are encumbered with this, just the experience of knowing, like, if you build your facility or your equipment very, very large on the front end, it can be pretty scary if things don't go to plan. And so we historically have kind of changed our equipment, upsized our mixers, perhaps later than most people might, but partly because we're just encumbered from this experience where, like, when you invest like that from a capital perspective and things don't go to plan, scary situation.
Yeah, I'm literally shaking.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Thinking
But
about the debt thing and debt management. But where are you guys at on scaling and mixing? About how many bagels are you guys doing in a week? We'll say between all 10 locations.
We have 10 locations, and then we have a line of frozen bagels.
So
And so we basically bake at our Bushwick facility 24 hours a day. But we make dough at our Bushwick facility for the 3 other stores that bake. So that's Nolita, Williamsburg, Long Island City, and Bushwick. I don't know.
He doesn't even know.
No.
He doesn't even.
8,000, 10,000, something like that out of Bushwick, but I'm not.
Cool. And you guys, when we all met on video conference, I thought it was really interesting on how you guys like do your distribution, because you guys aren't baking at every single facility. How many facilities are you baking out of, Ethan?
All of them. Yeah.
Oh, you do bake out
Yeah,
of
we
all
bake.
of them.
We bake
Okay.
in all the stores.
So but you don't mix out of all of them, is that right?
No, just all in Brooklyn. We do all our dough production there, then send it out to each store. Then at the night or at nighttime, and then they bake it the next morning.
So walk us through that process. Like, so you're mixing dough, you're shaping dough, you're like keep going with that. How do you get it all out to everywhere?
We have a 16-foot refrigerated box truck. We just load the pizza box trays with 15 bagels in each one, and just send those to the store. It's complicated, like timing wise. It's hard, but it's the only way to really like get. I think it gets us a homogeneous product, like to a certain extent across the board, because we're making the dough in one place. We can monitor it easily up until a certain point, and then kind of just hope that it's in the right hands after that.
Yeah, Ethan might agree with me on this one, but we learned some things. I mean, we're big proponents of hub and spoke as well. We do it a little bit differently in that we bake in 4 stores and we distribute from there to 6 other stores. But we learned some things as we were going. Number one, the location of your hub and spoke sets matter. When you're in New York, and obviously there's a whole bunch of folks from other cities here, traffic, it can be complicated, and we didn't really think about that at the beginning. Number 2, stairs. It's one thing to like carry like a tray of bagels up the stairs. It's another thing to take like 20 trays of frozen dough or fresh dough down the stairs. So there's a lot of learnings there.
With each stair, you're like degassing every single bagel as you go down. A lot of
And
laughs.
if it goes
Degassing,
down, it's
good
got to
job.
go up. So
Yeah.
it's like really not awesome.
Have you had the refrigerated trucks break, and they're proofing on the way to the site?
No, but that's one of my biggest nightmares.
We're going to talk about we're going to talk about scaling nightmares.
keeps
soon.
happening.
That has certainly happened to us.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say it out loud.
We have 2 vans, and not we probably should have invested in the 16-foot box truck. Instead, we got 2 Sprinter vans that are probably 12 foot. And when I see the CC rental van or like the van from the other rental company outside, I'm like, what happened? Because other things, accidents happen, flat tires happen, lots of things happen.
Would you say, Geerda, you, Matt, is going from one location to 2 locations linear, or is it parabolic in the sense of like what does that graph look like in terms of costs?
I think that if you are operating a hub and spoke model, obviously 1 to 2, 2 to 3, probably quite a bit of efficiencies from like a supply perspective. Then things get a little funky. One, because it's not one team that's kind of pushing as hard as they can to get out to 2, 3, 4 stores. It ends up being like building infrastructure, managing managers, and it's a slightly different type of scaling. Part of me does miss the first few stores.
The good old days.
Yeah.
And then I guess I'm assuming that, do we have bagel shop owners in the room? Raise your hand. Anybody, keep your hands up. Anybody have multiple locations? Okay, some hands went down. So like, when you are scaling, like we talked about this, like multi-location, like what's the need for it in terms of the way in which you kind of view, I know like as a chief dough officer, like do you view it as multi-location streamlines it, overcomplicates it? Like if you could redo it again, like, or if you were doing your own, like how would you look at multi-location versus single location and the benefits?
I think it really depends on the context. We had a lot of like viral attention early on, so I think that is something you want to lean into. And if you can capitalize on that, then you can spread out and still have people come to your stores. Sorry, I forgot the first part of the question.
No, just like what is the benefit of the multi-location
yeah.
in terms of what you do?
Benefit. I don't know about benefit. In my department, it kind of makes things more complicated. Every time we add a store, it's like another logistics problem.
I hope they call
It
you
keeps things-
kind of first or second, but that was me.
It's more of a
Third.
notified.
Yeah. But that's what keeps it interesting. I think having the space to spread out if we need to, we can send stuff to different stores. I think the benefits come more for like front of house and kitchen when we have like a dough truck going around different stores. They can throw something on the truck that needs to go somewhere else. But from my end, it's definitely harder the bigger it gets.
Do you guys commissary out cream cheese as well?
Not right now, no. Each store has like a little mixer, or they just mix it in the dough mixer. It's on site. It's fresher that way right now.
Yeah, is there a contingency at every single location if you can't get bagels? Like, can they mix their own dough?
Yeah, we can we can't mix more dough, but we can send bagels from one shop to another. So if we're selling out in one place, we can send an Uber with like 150 bagels in it from one store to the other, or even just dough if we need to bake in a certain place.
So benefits and downsides.
Definitely, yeah.
And Matt, same thing.
Yeah, of course. But I think that, location growth is not the only model. When Chris and I were talking, I love the farmers market model. I think that's like fascinating and interesting, and obviously depending on where your bagel shops are located, like an option. But I think there's so many different versions of scaling. Brick and mortar is obviously one that benefits from maybe where you are. If you're in a city that can support, or an area that can support a lot of stores, and also the macroeconomic environment when money is inexpensive and/or very available.
Yeah, we got into, so I have one location and no interest in growing Olmo into multi-location, but we've used scaling as the way to be able to lower our operational expenditure by finding new outlets through, and we don't even do wholesale yet. So we're waiting for that light switch to potentially turn on. But we do 15 farmers markets around the state that run Wednesday through Sunday. And we've been able to max out. We had to get a new cooler that warehouses 10,000 bagels at a time in order to be able to accommodate the daily bake. So like you could look at the farmers market as a multi-location, but at the same time, it's just like, it's kind of like the hub and spoke model. But
Less
you
capital.
only need one employee to be able to put the bagels in the bag. Plus, you have the pre-orders, so the predictability of what you're going to do. You track the metrics differently at every single farmer's market, and there's opportunity for hospitality, as always, in every single market that you're doing. So, I just thought that it was an interesting thing to touch on for everybody who's just terrified about getting to another location. Like, my hand would be up on that because I don't know how these guys do what they do at the level that they do it. It's fascinating question. Let's get into fears. Let's drive some fear into this room, and then make people feel a lot better about it, because these guys, even as polished bakers and business owners, also have fears. We touched on the box truck, turning into a hot
truck going
box.
down.
What other fears have you
The guys
had?
already do that.
What other fears have you had, and what fears have come true, and how did you handle it?
So having dough production centralized in one location, obviously that's like a single point of failure. There was one instance where the street sweepers were coming by, and some like ice melting salt got into the electrical wiring and something blew up, and like we had to shut down that location for like a day, and we had to come up with like a backup plan of where to do all the dough that we make. Luckily, we just happened to have a mixer in the basement of our West Village shop because it was a pizza shop before it was Apollo Bagels, and so we had like a backup plan in place for that. But it's kind of like those single point of failure things, like the truck breaking down. If something happened to the mixer, it wouldn't be good. And then long term, it's more quality control. Like you don't want to be that place that expands too quickly and just product goes down. We've all heard that story, so that's what I'm trying to avoid long term. And then short term, it's those smaller like mechanical things usually.
I feel like we had like 2 of the terrible things happen in the first 10 years. One being a global pandemic. The second, a fire.
Which you anticipated,
Yeah.
the pandemic,
Of course,
so at least
yeah,
you had a
we had
contingency
modeled
for that,
it.
right?
We had all that money stocked away. It was great. No, I mean, we had a fire at one of our locations, which I don't wish upon anyone. My only advice there is hire an independent adjuster. I didn't even know they existed, but thank God we did.
You told me that, and I still have not done it yet.
Yeah,
So,
no, you only do it when you have a really significant claim, which thankfully sounds like you haven't.
Well, we
Yes.
we haven't. We actually have a food truck that we barely use. So on days where the typically like our griddle or our hood that our griddle is under will go down, and instead of running a cold menu, we drive the food truck over and we put the bagels onto the truck, and then we sell bagel sandwiches off of that at a discount. Yeah, it's just, I think like contingencies in the scaling of it all, it's, you don't think about it at first, and then you kind of like, you make mistakes or mistakes happen and you are learning as you go, and it's just like,
It's definitely a learning experience.
yeah, the learning experience is just, it's
A lot of
really
mistakes.
tough to deal with. But creating contingencies during scaling is just, your brain starts to operate in a totally different way after years of doing it, of thinking like, well, my day is going to be ruined because my eyes are open. So what are all the things that are going to go wrong, and how do I fix that right now? So my team is constantly, like when I left for the day, it's, you know, I'm asking things like when this person calls out, who's going to be coming in, or when our oven breaks, how are we going to navigate that? It's I think facing your fears and saying them out loud and addressing them early is far better than having a fire and not having an independent adjuster.
Yeah, totally.
Obviously. Okay. Yeah, and what's the downside of scaling? Ethan, you only have 30 seconds to answer this, not 45 minutes. This is not a therapy session.
Less sleep. Less sleep for sure.
Less sleep.
I mean, I don't think this is a hokey answer. I think it's honest. I think, you know, it creates stress, and not every organization and not every person, team member is comfortable and can manage that well. And so, yeah, I think for me now with Black Seed, it's more about finding opportunities to de-stress the team and the team members, because it's just this, we you know, a lot of us entered this industry because we liked it, you know, because either we were culinary.
Why are you using the past tense?
No. Well, because it can change. The pendulum can shift. But, you know, either we're creative or we like to entertain people, or probably a little bit of both. And so the more you encumber your organization with stress, perhaps for some people, the less fun it is. And I think that's something we shouldn't lose sight of.
Scaling is fun though, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Having your hair on fire is, sorry, not fire. Having your
lobes.
hair, whatever, move on.
Blown back in a...
We talked a bunch about leadership. You know, how do you find yourself waking up every single day and putting that leadership hat on with your dough team, Ethan? And like, what are you looking for in leadership qualities with your team?
Definitely initiative and accountability and responsibility. None of our dough guys were like originally bakers. Some of them had pizza experience before, and that's kind of the extent of it. But we have a sick production team, and they really like what they do, and they really care about it, and that by far gets us like the best results. And because we're all making mistakes, willingness to learn from the mistakes is super important for me too. So as much as I can cultivate that, I try to.
It's not an easy hat to put on every single day, though.
No.
Do you find that everybody looks to you as the point of like answers on your dough team, or have you identified people on your team that can also answer those questions?
Yeah, now that we've been doing it for a while, have like 2 p.m. leads and 2 a.m. leads, like 2 people that are sort of responsible for the mixing and 2 people that are managing like shaping and nighttime production. And they've been there for a while and they've like really earned those positions. So I don't know, it's nice to see people like they come on. It's just like a job that they start just because they need to work, and then they get really into it and they get really good at it, and it's just nice to see.
And Matt, you've owned a bunch of businesses over the years. You know a whole bunch about leadership. Where does it stand on your ability to scale?
It kind of relates to managing managers. Like you get to the point where you just can't be everywhere. And that goes pretty quickly when you're scaling. By like store 3 or 4, it's you just can't be there every week. I mean, you try. And the people you hire becomes incredibly important. And I kind of ascribe to the Danny Meyer, 51%. Like, I hire great people who share your values. And it's a little different when you're hiring people necessarily for dough production or something technical. But when you're looking for, supervisors, store managers, area managers, which is effectively what enables you to grow, hire good people.
I guess piggybacking off of that, like, are you guys looking for skilled labor, or like, I know that there's like somebody at a register is a little bit different than somebody in dough, but Ethan, you mentioned like not everybody has bagel backgrounds, or nobody had bagel backgrounds, including yourself. Like, do you seek that as a quality, or is that just because it's hard to find?
Yeah, I think it's hard to find, and also the way we do things is really different. So if somebody came in with like experience, like hand rolling bagels, like they were doing out there, it wouldn't apply to what we do. So it's definitely, like I said, like willingness to learn is more important to me than like what they were doing before. Also, they don't come in with bad habits if they come from somewhere that they had been doing it and are kind of like set on a way and think that there's like a certain way to do it. So.
Do you try and find people that are not in the industry, like that aren't jaded already, or are you?
Well, I think people can surprise you sometimes. I mean, I make it a point to interview every manager candidate at Black Seed, and we go through 100 resumes to get to 10 in-person interviews, and then a few. And people surprise you. People's experience surprises you. People's background surprise you. I think it's just trying to find people that work hard and have good values, and that can inspire other people on their teams to do the same. I'm sure it's the same at Apollo and at Olmo, but every person you hire, you want to grow, and you want to provide a roadmap for them to grow. It's critical. Not everyone wants to, and that's okay.
Sure.
But they make that decision. But from the leadership's perspective, we want everybody to be able to grow so that they stay.
Yeah, it's we have a 3-point checklist on hiring, which is be 5 minutes early or earlier. If you are anywhere within that window, between 5 minutes and your start time, we'll give you the interview. If you are 1 minute late, you are excused from your interview. You come in, we offer you a free cup of coffee. Thank you for your time on coming in. Excuses are excuses, right? It's a bad start in our mind. And I know we might be closing the door on some potential talent. When you shake hands, you have to make eye contact. It's a small thing. And then having a conversation under pressure, which is the actual interview. We don't have interview questions. We talk about what you're wearing, what your hobbies are. You just have to have a 10-minute conversation with a stranger. And if you can do all 3 of those things, we give you a paid second interview. And from there, you start to weed out skill sets and what you're actually looking for. But like getting that paid interview, you build a lot of confidence into people on it. And the Connecticut Department of Labor also likes that now, that we pay people on their interviews. Okay.
That's neat, by the way. No.
What, the Connecticut
No,
Department of Labor?
the tests.
It's a small test,
Yeah.
but again, you're provided with the exact roadmap. We have colored T-shirts on growth, so it's kind of like TGI Fridays when you work for us. And
Joe
so
Shanghai.
when you work on the dough team, you get purple shirts. When you work on the production team, you get green shirts, and leadership has black shirts. And 3 shirts equals a raise, and 5 shirts equals the next raise. And then when you're at 5 shirts, you're considered for salary, which is then considered for management, and so on and so forth. And so when people say, like, I've been here for a year, let me please earn more money, you look at them and you go, let's talk about growth. We definitely lose people over it, but it's that accountability of saying, like, if you're not going to invest in us, we don't invest in you. And that scaling is so important with choosing, because people, I don't know about everybody in this room, but is cost of goods or people a higher part of your business model?
People.
People. So we're really not in the bagel industry, we're in the people industry, right? And that's why I talk a lot about hospitality, because we focus on hiring people all the time, and it's kind of crazy. It's a weird mindset in the terms of growth, but if you don't have the right people around, you can't get to that next level of fulfillment. And I'm sure that you've had some bakers that want to provide their opinion more so than just wanting to be on the team.
Yeah, everybody's definitely very opinionated, and their own way is the right way to do it, and they're all perfect every time.
But that's also a superpower in the sense, like, who challenges you?
Yeah, no, I tell them too. They do it every day, like more than me. I'm not like I bake sometimes, but they're the ones doing it. They see the systems that we give them, and when they think there's something wrong with it, I want to hear about it, because I can like tell them what I think they should be doing, or I can give them pointers, but I can't tell them how to do their job better than them, because it's their job. And I think you have to. A lot of people don't really want to accept that, but I think you have to kind of be accepting of that to
Managing
let
up
them grow.
is as important as managing down.
Yeah.
To some extent.
Yeah, we call it servant leadership. Anyway, great lightning round. Who's ready? Okay. How many bagels a week do you eat, Ethan?
at least 5, but I lose count after like the second day of work.
So
It's
5
a-
in
it's a-
2
it's a-
days is the answer.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, if I'm doing quality control in different stores, then I'm not eating the whole bagel, so my count is kind of skewed. But many bagels, just
Matt?
bagels.
Black Seat's like 11 years in, so 5 bagels would be difficult. Well, I'm at 2 bagels a week.
I'm at 2 now too.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I really do love them. Speaking of things that actually I don't like, cinnamon raisin. Thoughts?
I like it. I think the question was phrased as, was it worth the hype? I think, and
Is it worth the hype?
I
Cinnamon raisin?
don't think there's much hype around it, but I think it's one of those things that the people that really like it, and they ask for it, and most people don't like it. I see it, yeah. And I definitely want one soon. An Apollo one might be coming.
Might be.
Hint, hint.
It took us like 9 or 10 years to launch one, but it's worth it. So, coming soon from Apollo, cinnamon raisin bagel.
Coming never from Olmo cinnamon raisin bagels. Hand roller machine, and is there a difference?
I have to say machine because we use a machine. I've only done like the actual hand roll like maybe twice in my life, so I'm horrible at it. I think there's a difference. You get more consistency from a machine.
Yeah, we hand rolled for 4 years, and it just gets to be a lot of hand rolling. But I think they're great. I mean, there are nuances, and probably everybody in this room can probably tell, but I think most people can.
Yeah, I found that the fermentation, the length of fermentation, is actually where you're getting a lot of your chew from, and not necessarily from the difference of when we hand rolled versus when we went to machine rolled.
How many hours do you?
We're at 36 to
Oh, wow.
48.
Wow.
We try not to be on the 36, but yeah, too much walk-in space. If you had one bagel sandwich for the rest of your life, what is it, Ethan?
Sausage, egg, and cheese.
Oh, good one.
Yeah,
On a
plain, toasted plain.
Have you had Black Seat's new sausage, egg, and cheese?
No.
I won't tell
Plug.
Joey. He can try it.
available now on online ordering.
Chicken sausage. I'm like a classic smoked salmon, scallion cream cheese.
Fully
onion.
dressed up, tomatoes.
No capers for me. It's not. It's Controversial, but it's no capers.
Raw red onion or pickled?
Raw. But nothing wrong with pickled.
Mine was the about to be winner of Schmear of the Year BagelFest, the Sequel pot cream cheese out there. Okay. Best bagel you've ever had. You cannot say your own bagel shop.
Oh, God.
Recently, Old Man Joe's in Westerly, Rhode Island. He's making really good bagels up there.
I don't know if it was the bagel place or just the time of the day, and I feel a little uncomfortable with my kids in the audience. I grew up on Long Island, and Bagel Boss was 24 hours a day. And I would eat there at 2 in the morning, and I remember it being very good. But
What else do you not remember?
that's funny.
The Bagel Hole on 7th Avenue in Park Slope. Iconic. Sorry if anybody from Bagel Hole here? You're not from Bagel Hole. Yeah, great. Well, they need to not microwave their egg like that anymore. Okay. I'm ready to throw down on that conversation as well. If you haven't seen it, they mix it in a little bowl and then they pop it into the microwave.
I saw that in Noah's.
Well, I can't say anything about Essa Bagel because they're amazing. What's that?
I saw Noah's Bagel from the West Coast.
Does the microwave bagel?
In the plastic pint container.
Yeah, it's something. Anyway, BPAs. Okay, if you could hire one cartoon character to be on your team, who is it quickly and why?
Transportation's complicated. Roadrunner.
Roadrunner.
I was gonna say Popeye.
Popeye.
Oh, yeah.
It makes a lot of dough.
Yeah. Can roll a lot of bagels.
SpongeBob. SpongeBob for the eggs. Best burger cook of all time. Well, anyway, that's what I have prepared, and my voice is shot now. So we will now take questions from all of you on scaling. I'm not going to call on people. Just start talking.
All right, cool.
Oh, and say where you're from if you own a bagel shop.
Yeah, sure. All right. Yeah, from Plymouth, which is southwest of England. We've got a bagel shop. It's all bagel country. Brother and my sister-in-law.
Amazing.
Really nice to listen.
We hope your flight isn't canceled on the way out.
Oh man, thanks.
That energy in you. Right.
No, the question is, it's kind of to both. I mean, we've seen your shops, so we've been here a few days, we've tried a lot. We've got a graphic designer who actually works in-house with us a lot. We work really, really hard on our brand. I come from a background with all that stuff too. We work really hard on creative. And we're working even more harder on creative at the moment because we see it as such an important part. And then come to New York, I'm blown away by the competition and how intense it is, it seems, but it also obviously seems to just all work, right? And I guess what I'm asking is how important or how high do you put your creative with the business? I guess maybe to Matt a little bit more, but I would also like to know what you think, Ethan, for sure. Because we're trying to place it on the rung of the ladder at the minute, and it's difficult because if you over-egg that area, then you might neglect some product, which is so important. And I guess in New York too, you need to stand out, you need to look fantastic, you need all these tick boxes, but is it more important the product? I don't know. So yeah, I just wanted to know where you put it and what your experience is with that, I guess. And two or three actually. So, yeah.
I mean, we Black Seed opened 2014. We were one of the early shops that kind of just revisited the bagel niche. And our thought then was beautiful store design, great music, clean, super hospitable. At the time, I think we weren't emphasizing necessarily the graphic design. I feel like Apollo's done a great job on the logo design, and it's a different time now, is the truth. Fortunately, New York is very, very dense, and I think everyone seems to have their own differentiation. But if you're just starting out or you're new, I still think quality, number one, in my opinion, but there's no reason to not kind of over-index in the brand, because ultimately, I mean, we are in a world when Black Seed wasn't pre-Instagram, but we were just kind of at the beginning. Now, we're all on our phones scrolling through TikTok and Instagram, so I don't think you can discount the importance of it.
Yeah, sweet. Thanks.
Anything to add?
I don't. One of our biggest complaints is that we don't make a real New York bagel. So we have sort of like
You and I both.
yeah, it's kind of in the same.
All three of us.
kind of all in the same boat.
Welcome to
here.
New York Bagel Fest.
So, as far as competition, it doesn't. For us, it doesn't really feel like there's competition. Not in the sense that there's not other people making good stuff. Just in the sense that if people aren't going to come to us for what they're going to go to like Essa Bagel for or something like another classic store. Like if you want to bake an egg and cheese, we don't even sell that. If you want just a regular toasted New York bagel or like untoasted, because it's New York, we don't have that either. So I think it's friendly competition, and I think it's friendly because we all have our own little like niche and we serve it well.
Just on that as well, like if you have a new product, say that you're, working with dough, you're like, this is something we need to do. I guess the same, like to bring that to scaling, taking it over each site is quite a hard thing to market, right? Because you can only do it 3 out of 7 in Matt's case, or like one site's doing it. Do you have that culture of where you like you need to blanket it over all of them, or do you have specials in each shop? Because Instagram becomes very weird to try and market through that because you can't think of it.
Yeah, I think well, one of the advantages or as far as like talking about expansion, is that we have a really limited menu. We only have plain everything and sesame bagels and a limited number of sandwiches. So it's easy to keep the same. That's part of the plan. Like it's easy to keep the same thing at every location when it's that small. And then if we want to do something like we had a cinnamon raisin special event in Brooklyn, and so we don't really have to worry about bringing those things to each individual store unless it's like would be a full like.
Do you use social media when you put that special up?
Yeah, but it's more about the event than like whatever special food we're doing with it.
I think I didn't really appreciate this until recently, which is because Black Seed was doing chef bagel collabs week at a time when we first opened. Danny Bowen, Missy Robbins, you name it, we did it. Then you start growing, and you're like, damn it, it's a hard sandwich to execute in 5 stores when one has like ovens and the other one has griddles, and it just gets complicated. So we've tweaked the model a bit, and so right now we're doing a kimchi scallion cream cheese with H Mart, which is delicious. But that's a spread that we make centrally, and we sell it. We send out to all 10 stores. So we've made it easier on ourselves because we realized it was quite complicated to execute like that. But like what Ethan's saying, depending on what your goals are, you can just do something cool at one store and create content or virality for the business and just do it at one.
I'm also like, to jump in, I know I don't have multi-location on this, but like I'm a huge proponent of undersell, overperform. So when you look at all of our branding and marketing, it's just like, it's the leaf or it says Olmo on it. And it's like, it's not colorful. It's never going outside of it. When you look at all of our Instagram, it's all about like just a friendly nature about it, so that when you come up to us, the creative aspect is the back pocket ace that we have, right? We do a lot of hand selling, like old school eye contact. You have to get this, otherwise fear of missing out, right? And then, or you point out people who are doing things and you're actually like saying like, oh, like you have to get what he got because like it's only coming for a limited time, and then somebody else overhears it, and you allow for like the word of mouth to be your true power, because a lot of people who are swiping, they'll give you a shot, but they're swiping to go look for the next thing that they're looking for, and the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. And in a bagel shop, yes, we sell bagels, but we sell a time slot of your day, right? We sell we do a lot of online ordering, over like 60% online ordering. So like, we are saying that like at 8:25, whenever you pre-ordered for, whenever your fulfillment time is up, like we're ready for you. And that is like that's the thing that we just keep driving, is the consistency and the consistency of the friendliness. And then like we allow for them to come across the creativity naturally. But we don't plug it to people because you're in a red ocean of a lot of mediocre, big restaurant groups that are constantly saying, Applebee's, well, I don't know if you even have Applebee's or whatever you guys have, but like, take a look at our new onion ring flavor. And it's just like, you're constantly inundated with new. And I think in the bagel industry, a lot of people just want the same.
Yeah.
Right? And the power of the same is like, there's nothing wrong with an everything bagel with scallion cream cheese. Just do it. Right? And like, you yourself and the approach that you take to it is your creative manner, and that'll stand out over time. Anybody else?
Thank you guys for your insights on everything. And you mentioned throughout the different stages of scaling up, you went from hand rolling to having to build dividers and things like that. Over the course of both of your businesses, growth scales, what have been the biggest investments, whether in terms of systems or equipment, that have helped with that scaling process?
Obviously, bagel formers and mixers, bagel formers and shapers. We're still very undersized on our mixers. You know, they can get very expensive, and you can get crazy ones. That, you know, I'm sure we've all seen the boy chick bagel robots. You
Dumped
know,
out.
they're great to look at. They're really expensive. And again, like, you know, we're averse to investing too much on the front end, because then you have to execute. The stakes are higher. So, you know, but it is the equipment, at least in our experience. I mean, these are, you know, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 things.
But they're also people.
Yep.
When we bake out of, we used to never talk about the fact that we steam our bagels up until Sam let us into the competition. Now he's stuck with me forever, right? But like we when we won, and I got to say, like, on stage, like, all you New Yorkers just voted for a bagel that doesn't get boiled, right? And like, we didn't win best bagel, we won like the People's Choice whatever thing, right? But like, we took the rationale oven and we turned it into a baker. Right, so we press a button now, and it's different trays and different, like, we have different programs for everything, but like the bakers are trained on how to use the equipment, which allows for us to scale into things and be able to say, like, you're an awesome human being. Do you want to learn how to bake bagels? Right, it's not like, you're an awesome baker. You're going to be an asset to us. It's just, you want to go to work with a good culture, right? And equipment allows for you to continue to focus on culture.
I am Karen. I have a bagel bakery in Mexico City.
Cool.
We're still in the hand rolling stage, and one of the things I have, I guess, if you can cast your mind back to that, is I like have a couple amazing hand rollers, like they're 3 times faster than everyone else, but their attitudes are not great. And so, like, depending on the day of the week, obviously you can kind of finish at a different time, so they put in less hours, but the production is more. But and it causes like friction in the team and so on. And I always say it's like being glorified babysitter, the whole industry, to be honest. But then if I'm like, look, you have to do your hours, they're like, well, I'm just not going to work as hard. How do you balance like the human factor on that?
I've certainly.
Good luck.
I've
No, I'm
certainly
just-
heard. We've all heard that before. That is not. That's not the first time. You know, I think that at the end of the day, culture wins. These are probably not people that will be with you for the long haul. They're probably not inspiring or teaching or mentoring other people around them to do what they do.
I mean, 3 points that'll be super quick on this. One, quarterly reviews are necessary for every single business, no matter what, right? And the first question we open up with is, what is the least favorite part about your job? Because people will happily vent about that, right? But then you ask, what's your favorite part about your job? So this is point number 2. What's your favorite part about your job? Maybe the bagel rollers, their least favorite part about their job is something so simple. And the favorite part about their job is something that you two have in common about. And then the third point is we identify superpowers, right? So a superpower, my superpower is talking. My mom gave that one to me. Thank you, Mom. But like, there are people with superpowers, so like speed might be that person's superpower, but trainability might be one of their weaknesses, right? And so like, continue to hone people's superpowers and get what you can out of them, right? And just continue to like, there's other things that need speed around your bagel shop. And so like, continue to give them those things. So like, maybe you only need speed for a little while in something, and then maybe you don't need speed later on. So you could use that later on time, that downtime, to train people who are saying like, I want to learn how to be like this person. right? And they want to learn how to roll bagels. So like, I don't know, opening up the conversation and asking like the taboo questions that you're almost afraid to find out about, almost like the deepest fear. It's like, let them be human. Like, embrace their humanness. You have something that you also don't like about going into work. Does anybody ask you that question? Would you enjoy being asked that question? And continue. I agree with you. I love every part of my job. So, so yeah, just like the human nature of it. It's like, yes, we need something as a stat on a spreadsheet, right? But like, that's what your machines are for. And when you get there, you'll enjoy the machines and how they break and say, no, I don't like my job today either. Do you have anything to add, Ethan?
Yeah, I definitely would go with what he said. It's a more positive approach to it. But at the end of the day, if you're managing people, there shouldn't be, but there is like some level of feeling like you're babysitting to it. So just more accountability. If they're taking longer because it's later in the night and there's nobody around, just more like leadership staff on at that time. But yeah, I think it's mostly about culture. If you have people that really take pride in their work, they're not going to make it take longer just for the hours of it, if they get paid enough.
Yeah, if you can stomach it, and I know that this is coming from a place of businesses that have scaled up here, but like we've had to turn down fulfillment in order to get the right people in the right place, and then you can open up the floodgates when you're ready and kind of recoup that money. But if you're always looking at things as a percentage in a business, getting rid of people and losing sales can create similar profitability margins, and even crazy enough, sometimes they can increase profitability margins too. So like, food for thought. But yes, your job is not easy. Who else?
I'm curious about the growth and success you might have made when you were making frozen products.
Yeah.
I was around when you guys opened in 2014
Yeah.
in New York, and 2020, I think I saw you at a freezer in Oregon, and I was like, holy shit.
It was
So I'm curious about what that process was like.
we've made it simpler because we've realized, we were kind of a brat when Goldbilly first started. I mean, we were on Goldbilly before it was Goldbilly. It was called Foodie Direct or something, but we were insistent on shipping frozen because we felt like that was the best way to preserve the product, bake it fresh. We would slice them and freeze them, and then ship them. Complicated. At this point, we bake them in our facility in Bushwick. We slice them, which makes them a little unique for frozen bagels. Most of the time, you leave them on your counter and slack it and put it in the oven or something and eventually slice it. So ours are pre-sliced, and you kind of twist it eventually, kind of like a English muffin or a waffle. There's a French bakery I'm involved with too. Freezing is dough is a very resilient item, culinarily, and it can be frozen. And so our bagels are fresh baked, frozen, and then distributed through our distributors. I mean, we're still small. I mean, we're in like 40 Whole Foods, DeChico's, Fresh
So
Direct.
small.
Require any additives or enzymes?
No. No. Yeah. I mean, there are people that do. We don't. And our feeling is you still have a 12-month shelf life. So for bagels and bread products specifically, I think it's worth the trade-off to not include that stuff.
EB is about to walk up and take the mics away from us, but I like to go against the grain. So one more question. In the back.
Expect nothing less.
Just curious, I work in the Chinese, I don't know the bagel store, but I'm blown away when I walk up and out of work in Grand Central. I pass 4 or 5 bagel stores that are over the building. What do you account for sort of this renaissance to buying bagels? Clearly, it's not a health food. That's allowed you to kind of scale up and stores and guys.
What's funny is in other parts of the world, people do think bagels are healthy. I won't name them, but it surprised me. No, they are healthy. Of course they're healthy. I think that, yeah, I mean, look, we were watching all these other parts of the industry become more artisanal, whether it was pizza or French bakeries or salad, and bagels were a little late to the dance. But there's no reason why it shouldn't. It deserves the same kind of love and artisanality that all these other things received. And so I think that if you look at maybe 2014 to the present, I think you're just seeing places, be designed well, focus on procurement and quality in a way that they hadn't previously. Are we all going to be here, with the same number of stores in 3 years? I don't know. Maybe it's a bit of a bubble. Maybe it's not. But New York is such a dense city in particular with so many tourists that I think if any city can support that kind of network of stores, it's New York.
It's a great note to end on. We're going to turn off the microphones, and if you want to come talk to us, come talk to us. Thanks a lot, everybody.